I want to take a second to talk to you about our show sponsor, Noom. Noom is a consumer-led digital health platform that leverages a powerful combination of human coaches, psychology, and science designed to empower you to take control of your health, not only your weight. Noom's daily lessons are at the core of their curriculum and are designed to keep you on track to meet and exceed your goals. It's helped me track my workouts and measure my progress. With Noom, you'll also learn strategies to break the behavior chain that leads to weight gain. One lesson I loved was crush your thought distortions, which gives you tips and techniques to improve your mindset and make better decisions about the food you eat. Their food and exercise trackers are incredibly helpful. There's a huge variety of awesome recipes, and Noom's support team are real people trained in psychology, fitness, and nutrition, and they are there for you every step of the journey. Click the link in the description to take your free Noom evaluation. It's quick, easy, and will help you create your custom plan. Same story, different day, guys. George Masvidal and Colby Covington. It's the one that won't go away. And Colby is not only offering and willing to, he is suggesting that they go do The Ultimate Fighter. Now, you got to watch that. I mean, if you can get Colby Covington, you already have one half of it. Colby Covington is saying, let's go do The Ultimate Fighter. So we got him done. If you can get George Masvidal, the second biggest star in the sport, who, by the way, is rehabbing something. I don't know what it is, but he's rehabbing something. Perhaps The Ultimate Fighter, perhaps a little rest and rehabilitation is exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, don't ever forget The Ultimate Fighter, while that's presented to you, the audience, as a television show, The Ultimate Fighter is the ultimate training camp. You will have a bunch of bodies, your size, like-minded, any coaches you want to bring in. Dana's writing the check in the world-class facility. It is the ultimate training camp. I've been through a number of training camps, none as good as The Ultimate Fighter. So maybe that's exactly what Masvidal needs. And this seems like one that's going to be very hard to get around. While I'm saying it's a different day in the same story, this is Colby lighting this torch, yelling it from the top of the roofs. There is nothing within George Masvidal's makeup that says he backs down from a fight. And between George and between Colby, and between their select training partners and select coaches, everybody knows who's likely to win. I mean, in all fairness, when you work out with a guy every single day, and there's videos of Colby and George when they were living together, quite literally moving the coffee table in the living room, putting on wrestling headgear, and going at it right there at home. They've got a good idea between the two of them who's going to win. Now, how come they're both willing to fight? Maybe they don't have such a good, clear idea. And even if they do, neither one of them's backing down. But I will tell you this. Couple of things about when they used to train together. Because if this match is going to come up, and they're going to speak up about how the training sessions went. We've seen this happen before. When Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz fought the first time, everybody that was there, Dana White included, said Chuck gets the best of Tito, but the odds makers had Tito as a favorite. So even if we're told something, us as the audience, we will reject it at times. But there's good reason to reject a couple pieces of this story. I'll give you two. If you're ever sparring with somebody, you are going to grapple at 100%. You have the right, per the integrity, per the culture of the room, to wrestle and grapple as hard as you can. If you're striking with somebody, you're going to go about 75, maximum to 80%. So Colby, who is a wrestler, is going 100% in his field. Masvidal, who's a striker, is holding back. It's a very false sense. Let's just say Colby felt like, I could get a hold of him and I could keep him down. But let's say George said, yeah, but I could have caught him with an uppercut and a hook on the way in, and I just never did because I was taking care of my partner. By example, and part two that I'll submit for you, when they used to spar together, George was a 55-pounder. That's like they never sparred. You spar a guy who's in a different weight class, it's like you never sparred. George gets a fresh coat of paint, not only with the rankings, not only with us, the audience, but also with the competitors as soon as he changes weight classes. And that is a part of the story that needs to be told. Whatever happened with those boys in the room, they were in different weight classes. They're not anymore. Does it make a damn bit of difference? Who knows? It's between those guys to tell the story. I just share for you that if you can get them in The Ultimate Fighter, you can get George Masvidal to go out there and give you 10, 11, 12 weeks of TV. It seems like a very hard match to turn down, not to mention nothing is bigger than the sport than a grudge match. Nothing. Not a main event, which you see every single Saturday, not a title fight, which you see every 30 days. Nothing trumps grudge match. This is the only true grudge match out there. Anywhere. We're going to have to wait for this Conor and Poirier business and see if Conor can still even keep that hot. It feels like it's settled, but he's very good with marketing. Maybe he could relive that. It's going to need some work. This one's real, and this one's right in front of us. And I do think it would behoove George Masvidal to come out and tell the story a little bit clearer the way I just told it. Which is, first off, Mr. Chaos, I wasn't punching you as hard as I could because I'm a trustable workout partner. And second, I was a lightweight. I'm not a lightweight anymore. It's a very relevant two pieces to the story. And those guys may think that they know each other. They don't. And there's some guys that come away with a very different interpretation and opinion. If this sport ends and TJ Dillashaw and Uriah Faber don't fight, we, the community, have messed up. Can we agree on that? But they're relevant to this because those guys worked out together every single day. They know, at least between them, who's where. And they had a select group of people, none of which are talking, that watched them spar every single day. And everybody may have an opinion on who's where, but Uriah didn't flinch to do the match, and neither did TJ. So they have, apparently, either a different interpretation of what happened, or they don't care. They do not care. Whichever one you believe is the B side, he's willing to show up anyway just to hit the A side in the mouth. And that could be what's going on here with Colby and George, but I think that's fascinating. I also think the fact that if I was to ask you guys what happened to George Masvidal, tell me what his injury is. And the mere fact that you can't speaks volumes about George as a person. George only has two choices. Does he want to document and show to everybody what his injury report is? Does he want to lay on a gurney like Oscar De La Hoya and smiling while he's got the gown on and he's hooked up to an IV to show everybody that he's hurt so he doesn't have to box Vitor Belfort? Does he want to keep his mouth shut and be a man about it? Let Leon move on with business and he'll move on in a different direction, because that's what George chose to do. It was the right way to do it. It's the way that a man would handle it. And you don't generally see a man in these situations. You generally see somebody they call the golden boy laying there trying to tell a story and get sympathy from people for not going out and doing a job that he said he was going to do. George didn't want any of that. Say whatever you want about me. I agree. I signed a contract. I'm not showing up. Who gives a goddamn what the reason is? I didn't show up. First time in my career, but it happened. Leon, good job. That's the way to handle it. That's the way George did handle it. Now George is in a new spot. He's got a huge match. It's a grudge match. This is a match that has to happen. I talk to you guys all the time. If you do things right in this sport, the outcome of your last match doesn't matter. George versus Colby could go on to the Ultimate Fighter. Dana, I'm quite sure, be very interested in that. It will be a main event. It will move the needle. It will be a high dollar. Neither one of them lost their last match. How do you take two guys that lost their last match, put them together, and create something beautiful? Because you don't stay on it. You don't dwell on it. The moment one match ends, the marketing for the next match begins. The three biggest stars in the sport right now, Conor, Masvidal, anybody named Diaz. One thing in common, none of them won their last match. It's very relevant to study how these things happen. Why does this happen for some people? Why do some other guys end up in a hole? Why do some guys in life in general, and not just in the sport, get stuck in the world's cracks, and some other guys use it like a platform and they come springing out of it? You're going to decide. I'm going to believe you. As an audience member, I'm going to believe you. If you say you're down and out, you just can't do it anymore, and things just aren't going your way, I will believe you. I have no reason to question that. And if you come out and say, I'm going to do better next time, give me this guy, I'm going to whip his ass, I'll believe that too.